Hello friends, this is Russian Tortoise here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about buying your tortoise from a pet store. So I've had a lot of comments over the years asking me, hey, is it okay if I buy my tortoise at a pet store? So, on top of some footage of some reptiles at a local pet store here, I'm going to tell you guys if it is okay to buy your tortoise at a pet store. Let's get started. Let's get started with the cons. First con, when you buy your tortoise at a pet store, you're essentially dealing with a middleman, the pet store. So you don't know what the conditions of the breeder are where the pet store bought the tortoise from. So you don't know how the parents are kept, if the breeder takes good care of his tortoises, and all that stuff, which is important to know because you want to make sure that your tortoise comes from an environment where it's been taken good care of during the first few months, which are really crucial in tortoise development. Second con, the tortoise is potentially wild caught. At the pet store, they might tell you we got it from a breeder, but they might be lying to you. This is of course not legal, but it might still happen, or the pet store might have gotten the tortoise from a supplier who lied to them. So I work at a pet store, and the way we get our animals is we don't buy them locally, we get them from a supplier. And the same thing is going to happen at bigger pet stores, and the supplier might lie to them and say, hey, this is a captive bred tortoise, even though might be wild caught. So that's also something you need to be aware of. The next con is that the pet store might be taking improper care of the tortoise. So young tortoises need pretty high humidity, even though they might be arid species of tortoise. So a lot of pet stores might not know this and therefore take bad care of their tortoise. They might not have enough space. This is very likely because pet stores are not going to have space to give your tortoise a 3-foot, let's say by 2-foot for a baby tortoise enclosure. It's probably going to be in a much smaller space. They also are probably not going to get the diet they need because at a pet store they're going to try to feed it what they get from their suppliers, so they're not going to go out and buy fresh greens. They're going to feed it a diet out of a box, which is never a good idea. Next con, tortoises at pet stores can be extremely expensive. This is because the pet store obviously also needs to make money off the tortoise, so they buy the tortoise from a supplier. The supplier got the tortoise from a breeder, so already you have two locations where the price gets marked up. If you go directly to a breeder and buy, you usually save a lot of money. And finally, if you buy your tortoise from a large chain pet store, you're essentially supporting a business that doesn't take good care of their animals and doesn't really care about the care of their animals. So obviously that's another con. So that's all the cons that I could come up with. Let's think about the pros. Not all of you are going to have access to a local breeder. There's not a breeder for your that there might not be a breeder for your species of tortoise that you're looking for in your state or your country. So it might be easier to find tortoise at a local pet store. If you don't have a choice, I would recommend going to a small local business instead of a large chain store, because local businesses usually take better care of their animals. And the second pro of buying a tortoise at a pet store that I can think of is that you're essentially supporting a local business. So if you don't go to a big chain store, you go to a small business, you're supporting this business, and that's good for your community. And that's all the pros I could come up with. Really, it's not a lot of pros. However, right now you're probably screaming, oh, I gotta buy my tortoise at a breeder, blah blah blah. However, before you get on that moral high horse, you need to consider a couple of things. Do you buy other pets at a pet store? Let's say, do you have a guinea pig, a hamster, a rabbit? Do you buy that pet? Did you buy that pet at a pet store? Was it a big chain store? Do you buy your pet supplies at a pet store? And if to the two questions before, if the answer is yes, you need to consider, why is it so different for a tortoise? Why can you buy other pets at a pet store, but you can't buy your tortoise? Because it's not like the other pets are going to get any better care than the tortoise at the pet store. Sure, tortoises are more difficult to take care of than, let's say, rabbits. However, rabbits are also bred in these tiny little facilities, and they're taken really shitty care of before they get to the pet store most of the time. So that's also something you need to consider. And if you buy supplies at a big chain store, you're still supporting that large business. So if your argument for not getting a tortoise at a large chain store is, I don't want to support this business, then don't buy any supplies there. So that's something you need to consider. So I know a lot of people, when they argue for should I have my tortoise, should I get my tortoise at a pet store, and they say no, it's because they're saying I can't support this horrible business. But you need to consider, did you ever buy other pets at a pet store, and do you buy supplies, because you don't want to be a hypocrite. So that's my arguments that I could think of. If you have any other arguments that you could think of, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, because so to allow other people to check them out. And yeah, that's it. I want to say thank you guys for watching this video. It's been a video that took a little bit of time to make because I had to go to the pet store, I had to record the videos, I had to go back home, record the audio on this camera, and then split the audio from the video, so it took a little bit of time to make. I hope you liked the video. I know I really enjoyed making it. As always, I'm having a lot of fun with this channel. I really like all you guys' comments. I read every single comment. I really appreciate it. And this is everything so far. The triops, for some of you that are watching this still and that are watching my triop series, none of them hatched yet. I read online that it takes about 48 to 96 hours for them to hatch. That's 2 to 3 days. Right now we're at 24 hours, not even, so I'm not worried at all. They'll hatch, and as soon as they do, I promise you guys are going to get an update video. Until then, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.